I think my friends with benefits has feelings for me. Don't know how to navigate. Chris and I have known each other since we were in middle school, and we're never super close, but we're always good friends, if that makes sense. So when we were all walking to our apartments, and he'd lingered instead of going to my apartment, I ended up crashing on her couch. The next morning while we were having breakfast, she admitted she found me cute. So ever since, we've been just that. We'd both just gotten out of relationships at the time, and surprisingly this FWB situation resulted in us actually becoming really close friends. Well, before we had a pretty strict no staying the night rule because for her, that felt like a step beyond FWB. But late last month, she asked if I'd be willing to stay the night because I just really need someone to cuddle with tonight, and I didn't think anything of it and obliged. But now it's become every time we do it, one of us ends up stay the night at the other's apartment. She's also been making more overtly flirty comments towards me when we're with friends, which was another rule we had because we wanted to keep things private. Problem is, I don't know that I share her feelings. She's amazing, don't get me wrong. Beautiful, can't undersell this. No idea why she picked me, of all people. Brilliant, driven, and one of the kindest people I know. This girl volunteers at a soup kitchen weekly. I've been incredibly grateful to have gotten closer to her over the last 6 months. I think she's one of those people you're lucky if you get to meet even one of in your whole life. I know once feelings get involved, there's no real going back to strict friends with benefits, but I also would rather get buried alive than hurt her. So I would love advice on how to handle this. TLDR. I, 28 male, have been FWB, with Crease 27 female for around 6 months, and suspect she's caught feelings. I need help navigating the situation. Update 1. After the first post, I called her and told her I suspected she had feelings. I was right and told her I didn't have feelings and wasn't ready for a relationship out of panic for the situation. Thankfully, it was therapy day. I talked things out with my therapist about how I have serious fears about getting back into a relationship, how those fears made me react way too quickly, and how now that things potentially collapsed, I've re-examined how I feel about her. After therapy, I just let myself sit with things for a while. Then I called her. Call went to voicemail. So I texted her and let her know I wanted to talk and wanted to do it in person if she was willing. She texted back and said she was willing to meet for dinner, to hear me out. So I laid everything out for her. How my last relationship fucked me up and how that made me panic when I realized she had feelings and act before I even gave myself time to process. And then I told her how I really felt. That her voice is my favorite sound, how her smile is what I see when I close my eyes. All of it, and most importantly that if she was willing to be patient with me, I wanted to give us a shot. Anyways, I'm taking her on a proper date this weekend. TL, doctor. I nearly ruined things but managed to salvage it and got the good ending. Update 2. Hi all, just wanted to give a second, and probably final update, unless we get like married or something maybe. I just got home after spending basically all day yesterday and part of today with her. On a scale of 1 to 10, the date was an 11. The day after my last update, she and I had a long call while she was on lunch from her job. It wasn't really about anything specific, but I made up the excuse that I was doing photography at a local greenhouse later that day to steer the conversation to flowers. I found out her favorite flower was lilies. Lucky me, I already knew her favorite color was pink. So I picked up a bouquet of pink lilies that day and had them waiting. Then came Saturday. I got to her apartment and I swear, nothing could have prepared me for the moment she opened the door. I've photographed models on a Miami beach at sunset. I've photographed landscapes in Iceland and Ireland. I've done a wedding on a small vineyard in Italy. I don't say any of that to brag. I say it because I thought I had a pretty good grasp on what beauty was with my experience. But the second she opened the door, the definition was changed for me. Her eyes were the first thing I noticed, of course. Her eyes are like these beautiful ice crystals in her head, and they were highlighted by this gorgeous tan dress, and the way her hair framed her face. Her smile when she saw the flowers made me freeze completely. I literally turned into a stuttering mess. I've never had that happen in my life. I'm usually confident and hard to fluster, but this outstanding human being did it without trying. I finally managed to hand her the flowers and we took them in and put them in a vase. A couple months ago, she made an offhand comment about how she wanted to visit this upscale Italian restaurant in our city. So that's where I had made reservations. The food was probably pretty good. I was too distracted by her to care that much about if the food was good. She info dumped about how apparently lactose intolerance is a skill issue, her words, not mine. She does this cute thing where she apologized for info dumping, and when I encourage her to keep going because I love hearing her talk, she bobs her head back and forth. It's a bit like watching a penguin dance. Don't know how else to explain it, but it makes me smile every time she does it. After that, we walked a block to a bar because they had live music. We got a single drink each, and the band started playing something by the Beatles. She made a comment about how it was her favorite slow song, so it felt like something to make a mental note of. So I asked her if she wanted to dance with me, and we did. And then it happened. She kissed me. It's weird. We'd made out before, but this time it just felt different. It was like lights dimmed around us, and everyone else disappeared for a moment. It was just us in each other's arms. When she pulled back, she had to be sure to jokingly remind me I nearly missed out on that. I ended up staying the night with her, and today we just laid in bed until like 1 p.m., just chatting and cuddling. After we finally got up, we went and got lunch together. We discussed what both of us want for our future. We both want kids. We both agreed that we both wanted to adopt at least one of them to pull a kid out of the system and give them a good life. Our goals really seemed to align well. The only difference was she apparently wants a spring wedding. I always planned on getting married in the fall because of photo opportunities. Guess I'm having a spring wedding. I know, early to think about a wedding, but I had a realization. In the last 2 months, we've spent more days together than apart. I did the math earlier this week because the thought occurred to me, so I read through our texts. From February 1st to April 12th, we only spent 32 days apart. We still talked on most of those days over the phone, or text of course, and we spent 39 together. Of those 39, only 4 were with the explicit intent to sleep with each other. Yet somehow I still didn't realize I was in love with this woman. TL, doctor. While I nearly made a massive mistake, I managed to not only salvage it, but I had the best date of my entire life. Update 3. Hey all, posting this with mod permission because I wanted to give you all one final update to my story. It's been a bit more than 8 months since I made my first post and update, and the two of us are still together. We moved in together about 2 months ago, which in my head feels like a short amount of time to date before moving in. But after discussing things, it does feel like we've been dating for much longer than 8 months, because for several months before that we basically were dating already. When I made my first post, I was still dealing with the fallout of an incredibly toxic and abusive relationship that truly strained my ability to trust and allow myself to feel love. I'd be lying if I said that even through therapy, that my trust issues have been resolved. But she's been so incredibly lovely and patient with me. She's genuinely just a spectacular human being. This is the first time a relationship has ever just felt simple. I don't feel like I have to perform for her, and genuinely my walls have finally come down. Well, shortly after she moved in, she started dropping the hints. She started talking about weddings, wanting to start a family, etc. Quite a lot. I'm generally bad at picking up hints, but these were obvious even to me, so I just asked if these were things that she wanted and what timeline she was considering. I wanted to be positive that if I were to propose, I already knew the answer was going to be yes, so I was probably overly thorough with getting her to say yes, I want to marry you. I know she wants something romantic and grand, but I also know her as a person enough to know she has a lot of social anxiety. I know we've agreed on a fall wedding. Luckily, I know a lot of people in the wedding industry, since I'm a photographer, so as long as the proposal is relatively soon, I can call in some favors and get things taken care of to make sure she gets the wedding of her dreams. I also know that her dream vacation spot has always been Italy, which I've been to with clients in the past. Today I booked the plane tickets. I told her that I have a photography gig I booked for March, and that I wanted to bring her along since I know she's always wanted to go. I had a few choices of where to propose, and have deliberated on that for a couple weeks now, but what I've landed on is that the third day there, I'll be taking her to Rimini for the day. And near sunset I will propose to her on the Ferris wheel there. It was one of the only things that ticked all the boxes for what she wanted. I would move the heavens and earth to make things perfect for her because it's what she deserves. So thank you all, especially those of you that were there to tell me I was being irrational and dumb in my first post. I remember being in that panicked headspace. Honestly, I thought I wasn't worthy of her back then because I thought I was too damaged. I thought there had to be some horrible fate in store for me, and I tried to run from those feelings. But I'm very glad many of you called me on it and got me to re-examine things. I've never felt so loved and fulfilled in my life. She's the first person in my life that I don't question if she has ulterior motives being close to me. Frankly, she's not exactly starved for choices in the dating department, and if she didn't truly love me, She could just find someone else at any point. For some reason, she's chosen me, and I'm going to cling on to that for the rest of my life if I can. TL, Doctor. I nearly curved off the most incredible woman on the planet. Months later, I'm about to propose. Update 4. I've just finished getting everything packed up to get the train to Florence tomorrow morning. As I sit here, she's in the other room, finishing her packing, so I figured I'd come here to write out my feelings since this account has become a life journal of sorts for me. Honestly, I feel strange. Not in a bad way, of course. It's this weird, anxious excitement I've never felt before. I know it probably sounds silly, but before the trip, I had to talk about this with my therapist. I know the odds that things don't go perfectly according to plan are pretty high. Having to accept that I don't have control over things like the temperature outside, or if it rains and the only thing I can do is just let go, is difficult for me. But ultimately, in less than 24 hours, I'll be engaged. I already know the answer. We've openly discussed everything. She knows I'm going to propose and just doesn't know when or how. Originally, I had a flowchart of if X goes wrong, Y, but decided that instead, I'm just going to exist in the moment with her. I trust that I know her well enough that if everything goes wrong, I'll still be able to find a moment that works. Hell, worst case scenario, I know she'd be perfectly okay with a low-key proposal at the end of the day when we get back to the hotel room. Anyways, wish me luck. Final update. Hello friends. I'm a little late to update everyone here. I considered posting this to the Our Relationships subreddit, but figured for now, I'd keep it here. I wanted to make sure we'd gotten home and had time to discuss everything, so I could do one big update instead of small ones. First, I won't keep you hanging. We're engaged. She clearly knew what was happening on the day. I wasn't really subtle about it, so I'm not surprised. I had originally made intricate plans for that day. But I'd noticed in other cities that nothing brought her more joy than when we were able to just point in a direction and explore without maps. She'd have so much joy in just finding random little shops or sculptures, or anything really. I have diagnosed OCD, so just giving up control like that has always been incredibly hard for me. But I decided to give up that control and just wander with her for a while, and make specific plans for the evening. We even found this cute outdoor flea market on our stroll, and she got a cute top from a vendor there. For dinner, I had booked a table at Il Santo Bev. Neither of us speak fluent Italian, but we'd both learned enough that we could get through ordering and ask basic questions. I think she thought that's where I was going to propose, but I didn't want to be that obvious. The atmosphere was lovely, and the food was incredible. I highly recommend visiting to anyone considering it. Once we left there, I recommended we visit a festival I heard about, which was surrounding the Florence Eye, a very large Ferris wheel. I don't think I've ever felt so much anxiety. I knew beyond doubt that she'd say yes when I asked, but I didn't felt this urgent need to make it perfect for her. Just the right blend of romantic while also actually thinking about what she would want. We made our way through the festival towards the wheel, and I was genuinely sweating enough that she had to ask if I was okay. Once we got into the Ferris wheel, it genuinely felt like my brain went blank. We were in one of the most beautiful cities in the world, with this incredible view over the city and all I could see was how stunning she was from across the cart. As we got up to the top, I was panicking. For some reason I couldn't find the ring, because I couldn't remember which pocket it was in, and she clearly noticed. Before I could even get the question out, before I could even find the ring, she said yes. I'm assuming she was trying to make me feel less panicked, but she took the pressure off me. Once we got home, it felt real. I know that the only thing that really changed was that we now call each other fiancé. But there's something just mind-blowing about sleeping in the same bed as your fiancé for the first time. Since we've started talking things through, we're eager, I won't deny that. But we're also realists. We want to build a life that we know will last together, so we've set our wedding date for October of next year. This gives us time to do some more travel together, and basically just exist together. Luckily, her current job allows her to work from anywhere, so anytime I travel for work, as long as there's an internet connection, we can use it as a trip together. What do you guys think? Let's discuss in the comments. Follow and like for more stories.